Hello, everyone. Right, I'm doing another list review, and this one is from Stephen Dale. Is that right? Yeah, it is Stephen Dale. Um, he is he's made a list that's for Alistair's tournament in Scotland. Um, his what's it called, Megatron something, where you can only run theater platoons, which is a really interesting experiment. I'm following along joyfully because I've been asked several times whether or not theater platoons are better and what theater platoons are good, and this is the experiment that's going to clear all that up. What are people bringing for that tournament, and how will it pan out? What theatre platoons will show themselves worthy, basically. So it's a really interesting tournament. I wish I had the money to go. I don't. Um, but at least I can look at the lists and marvel at the spectacle of it, right? So that's what we're doing now. I am going to show you the list for Stephen, and we can talk about what's good and what's not. Right, here we go. So it's a 1250 points limit. So Stephen is using 1249, so that you can't do better than that. That's perfect. 18 organized. This is where I think it should be around 16 to maybe 18 for 1250 is what I would aim for. So it's a good place to be, and it's the American. Yeah, it is. I think so. The American Paris for Market Garden. Can't remember the actual special rules, if there are any good ones for this one, but we may be able to see it later on. Let me just scroll down. Boom. Unmodified morale tests for all tests. Morale, order test, tank fear. That's for a special unit. Okay. Local knowledge. The German player cannot use the hidden rule. So there is. Okay, let's just go through it. Right, he starts out with the second lieutenant with an extra dude. They are veteran. That will make them very, very survivable. Also very expensive though for two men, but they can really survive. I think I would give these submachine guns just because yes, rifles are good on Americans, but the extra shots for free, I would go for that. And two Pathfinder units. Oof. They have that exceptional training, which means that they are always taking tests on full veteran morale. Two submachine guns, four rifles, 6 dudes in each. Veteran. Good skirmish units. Good skirmish units. They can push up and be sort of around the mid table. The forward observer. So this is actually they have British support, right? Because the Market Garden operation was a British operation. So that is very, very good. I always, I mean, for 0 points, that is extremely good. If you're going to buy him for 100 points, maybe not, but for a free like pin that sort of pounds down on the enemy, it also in the like a multi-rocket launcher, it encourages the enemy to spread out a bit, which is always great. Yeah, and then comes the veteran paratroopers. 1, 2, 3, 3 units of veteran paratroopers. 8 man in each. Oh, these are good skirmish units again. With the BAR, oh, they have the reach. They are stubborn. They are really, really good. Maybe even some of the best skirmish units, with the possible exception of the Finns, of course. Americans really have some good units if you're running skirmish infantry. So these also need to stay in your own half of the table, whereas the Pathfinders can push up to the center line and maybe a little bit beyond. Not getting to close combat though. These guys really want to stay on your own side of the table and just skirmish the living crap out of the enemy. Shoot down units, make them go down, give them pins, give them a few casualties. That is what they're good at. And especially if you like combine two of these units onto one enemy target, perfect. And a Dutch resistance group of 5 guys with a local knowledge. That means that hidden is out of the window, inexperienced. These guys can't do much. They need to sit somewhere where they're safe, and just have that special rule being effective. They can take an objective in your own back line, which is pretty much what you want. Medium machine gun team, not worth it, even though you can take it. It's just too expensive for a fixed machine gun. It's 65 points. For that, I can get a double recce, double machine gun recce Jeep for my British, which is way more useful. So in that respect, I don't think I would buy medium machine guns. If you're doing it for fluff reasons or because it's cool, go right ahead. A light mortar team, yes. Veteran, you don't need it to be veteran, but I'm guessing that you have to buy this veteran because of the theater list. So yeah, it is pretty cheap. It knows the business. Why not? Double those. Yeah, really good because they're cheap order dice as well, and you can spread out and you sort of have a little bit of indirect fire. It's not very strong, but it is there. And since you have 2 of them, they can sort of cover each flank moving up. And because they can move and shoot, that is also quite useful. A bazooka team, veteran again. Bazookas are so good for the Americans. Then comes the anti-tank gun. I just noticed that one. I would not run an anti-tank gun. Howitzers, yes. Anti-tank guns, no. They do. You can have some use out of them because they can split up the board. Like they can sort of determine where the enemy can place their armor. And you are kind of low on anti-tank. Yes, I get that. With only 1 bazooka. At 1250, you're going to see a lot of tanks. It's just it's fixed, right? It sits there, and you're going to have to limber it if you want to move it. And it can't really move up and engage targets that are hiding from you. So you're going to use it on ambush, cutting up the table into zones of control. A light howitzer, I think the light howitzer is way more useful. I would have run 2 of those instead, I think, which would have saved you some points for something else. An armored jeep, oh, I love this. It's very expensive, but it also is very fun because it has frontal armor. So it means that it's 7+ in the front. And it has a pindle-mounted HMG, which is good for knocking down veterans, and also for, just general soft-skinned anti-tank duty. Remember, it can even pin enemy armor if you're within 18 inches, which is also the dangerous place to be. But hey, if it's already moved, go up and pin it, right? And then a single MMG Jeep without the recce, without the frontal armor, just because it's cheap. So 3 Jeeps. Ooh. This list has a lot of skirmish capacity. A lot. All that infantry and the light mortars, which is the most skirmishy indirect fire you can get, and 3 Jeeps. Oof, this is good. and a single jeep, I'm guessing, to transport the bazooka in it. Really nice list, a lot of skirmish capacity. It's going to be fun to play this list because you can move all the time. Everything is moving and shooting. Whereas some armies become very static, right? And you even have your base of fire with the the medium machine gun, the anti-tank gun, and the howitzer. That should be your base of fire sitting on an objective. All three of those units should sit near an objective, especially if the enemy doesn't have a multi-rocket launcher. Right, Stephen. Good luck at the event, Megatron 3000 or whatever it's called. Lovely list. Thank you so much for sending it. I will see you in the next one. Cheers.